Uh-oh. The Joran identity.
Wow.
Hello, it's the Jordan Identity. Want to hop into another one. This one's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a longer one. This is a Debbie call. This one is fan freaking tastic because of how Lorne thinks he'll be able to win over Debbie by being quote unquote mostly honest. He walks all of this back in the future. I mean, not even like not even doesn't even try to use this as a turning point. This is all a facade to get into the Debster's bed. So this is on Raptor Bacon's channel, Best of Lord Armstrong. I am a predator. So he's made to fully say it out, and he wouldn't ever do this unless in the back of his mind he felt that this was the path forward to get into a deeper relationship with Debbie. We have to talk. I mean, we don't have to talk about how often, Debbie tells him we're not going to be in a relationship, yet he still thinks he can worm his way in. So let's go ahead and listen to this.
Hi, beautiful lady.
How's it going?
Awesome start. He's already setting the tone.
It's going better than what it was.
Okay, that's a good start.
It's been rough.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of a rough day.
Little hungover today?
No.
Oh.
No, I just all the talking that I've done with Winnie and with Emma and Maria and the class.
Yeah.
It's been hard.
Sad boy, sad bitch boy Lorne on full display.
I figured out I need to stop my bullshit.
Oh, really? You think so?
It's just a lot of things that have happened to me bothers me. It bothers me, and I put it off on other people, and I get hateful because of things that have happened to me on the
Happened
internet.
to you? You mean you did? Things you did? Consequences you faced for your own actions?
How to deal with my thoughts and how to live with the crap that I did, and why I go.
You seem to be living with it very easily. The problem is that you're living with it too easily, to be honest.
How I can't stand Wendy.
Okay, that's
really
consequential to your pedophilic
Okay, well, why don't we kind of start there? Why did you go there yesterday?
I got just bored.
Just bored.
Okay, so
I got bored because I had plenty to do.
You weren't gonna do it anyways. It didn't matter.
Marie asked me why I went there. I told her I don't know. So I was just bored, and I just
don't know. I have no control over myself.
Felt like going over there. Even though I can't stand. It don't make sense to me because as much as she's fucked me over and Wendy, she just grosses me out.
Okay, so seeing as that,
I promised you that.
Well, I mean, seeing as you're talking about how you don't like them, it's kind of strange that you would go there.
Well,
so what
is,
better,
isn't it?
Hang on a second. What is better?
Stop interrupting, dude.
What are you getting out of it then? That
Nothing.
makes it better to go there than to not go there.
I like Tony, and Tony's really the only one that I like to drink with because he doesn't get stupid, and we just sit there and relax and have a few beers.
Okay, well, number one, it's not just a few beers, and you know that.
No.
You're going to start there.
Oh, no.
Again, if you're going to be honest, you need to be completely transparent. And you can't just
that's not something
brush
he'll
it
be
off
doing.
as if I'm just having a few beers. I go over there. I like to go over there because it's fun, but yeah, I don't like them because they take advantage of me, and a lot of bullshit happens every time I go there. So it's really contradictory, the stuff that you're saying.
That's actually exactly the words I need to use because that's exactly the way it is.
Oh my God.
It's exactly the way I feel.
Oh my God.
what you just said is exactly the way.
You're really
I feel.
connecting with me, Debbie. You know exactly what's in my
I enjoy
mind.
myself when I'm over there, and I enjoy drinking with Tony, and I do have more than a few beers.
How many did you
hate
have
it because-
yesterday?
Say
Shocker.
to get away from the trash. Huh?
How many did you have
Say that again.
yesterday?
I had 7.
Yeah,
sure
that's a
about
lie. I had ...
I think so.
7.
What about when
I
you
only
got
brought
home?
6. I had 8.
You had 8 when you got home?
No. I had 3 over at Tony's, and I bought a 6-pack and came home.
So let me
So it's
ask
9.
you,
Jesus Christ.
what is
That number
it
keeps climbing
that
up.
goes on in your head that makes it okay for you to get in your car after you've been drinking?
Ignorance.
Nope.
That's not good enough.
It's not okay to get in my car after I've been drinking. I know that.
Okay,
That's
but
why I
you
don't
do it.
know why I go over Tony's to drink, because
Don't know why.
this is another thing. When he doesn't fucking drink anything, I don't know why. It's fucking stupid. I have so much to fucking lose, and to do something so stupid as go over there and then drive after I've been drinking. I've got so much to fucking lose. And I went through that with Maria today, and
You should
it
lose
blows
it
my mind why I
all.
would be so stupid.
Well, why does it blow your mind?
Yeah, it should
Can't
be
surprise
pretty
you. You do it all the time.
pretty
I
standard.
never used to be like that.
What do you mean
Oh.
never used to be? Are we talking 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I got incarcerated.
Okay, you're saying I was never like that, but since you've been there, you've
You're
done
like
it
that.
a lot.
I know.
So I want to know what makes that okay. What makes
It's
it okay every single
not.
time you do it?
It's not okay. It's not okay for me to do it.
So what do you tell yourself then?
In every sense of the word, it's not okay for me to do it.
But what do you
I could
tell
hurt
yourself?
somebody. I could really ruin my life, somebody else's life.
Yeah, but you're not saying
not
any of
okay
this
for
to
me to do
yourself in the moment.
know it.
Okay.
Clearly.
So what do you tell yourself every time you're going to do it? Because
I can't wait to get drunk,
when
get
you
even
make the
more when I
decision
get
that you're
home.
going to go over there. You stop at the store, you buy everything that you guys are going to be eating and drinking. You drive over there, you know that you're going to have to get home at some point. What is the plan? The plan is, as soon as you're done with the last drop, you get in your car and you start driving.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's usually it's to get away from Tony and Wendy.
Okay, so
Dude.
then you're gonna stop there too, because
Gotta get away
you
from
had
them.
mentioned
You
that
went
you like to drink
there.
with Tony, and now you're
gotta
saying
get
you
away
want to get
from
away
them.
from them.
Yeah, well, it's not so much Tony that I don't want to get away from. It's Wendy.
Dude.
Wendy, she's so selfish, self-centered. If you go over there without buying
Says the
something
guy that
for
wanted to
Wendy,
rape a child and
Wendy
actually
doesn't want you
made
there.
steps to do so. Interesting.
That's why another reason I don't know why I go over there. I just don't like him.
Well,
I like Tony. I like Tony, but I don't like the way he acts with taking advantage of me and with Wendy being
What's
so
he supposed to do?
disrespectful
You
to
barge
everybody.
into their house. He's like, well, fuck it. If you're gonna keep doing this, at least give me some fucking beer while you're here.
Her brother go over there.
When you clearly have nothing else going on. They're not like, Lorne, come on, we're gonna be grilling dogs. Bring nothing. They'll never say that. They'll always bring a beer. You come in here, bring some beer. If you don't have any beer, you're gonna get turned away at the door.
Honest day of work in her life. But it seems like everybody owes her. I don't understand why I even have anything to do with them. I'm not going to do any more because I told Maria today. When I talked to Maria today, I told her that I couldn't understand that. And she said, you want somebody to hang around, and that's understandable. But you're hanging around the wrong person. I said, yeah, it's something I realized years ago. She had me do up a list of reasons why it was a bad idea.
Do you have the list?
No, she's got the list.
Okay.
I should have asked her for a copy of it.
Was it pretty long?
Well, with all all the things that we were talking about, it was a good list. And there's things that I need to sort out and do right.
I'm gonna make a list as why I'd never want to do another
Need to not drink and not to go over Tony.
call reading with
hang
Gravy
around.
Train.
There's
Let's see.
because
He's stupid. He's dumb. Takes
Doesn't
advantage
respect
of me and my successful YouTube channel.
I'm nothing but a free beer to him.
I'm nothing but a free view to him.
Someone that he can use for borrowing tools and to help when he actually can do shit himself. He puts on this fucking pathetic, pitiful story of how my back hurts. And he puts his hand on his back like it really hurts. And no goddamn well it doesn't.
So you're not.
I imagine
no
his back
anymore.
hurts more than yours,
No.
considering that he died first.
He's going to come over for the yard sale. I told them they could come over, bring the stuff over for the yard sale. I mean, I can still be friends with them, just not hang around with them. I can text with them, but not go over.
Okay.
Not go over, not drink with them, not buy beer for them. No, I'm not going to let him use my tools. No, if he wants to use my pressure washer, he can come over here to use it. It's not going over his house, because last year I let him use it, and I brought it over so he could use it. And he was supposed to spray his house down, wash his house down with it.
Wash.
He had the fucking thing there for 2 months. And I kept telling him, Tony, you going to use that goddamn thing sometime today, or this year, or what? When he finally used it, it took him 6 hours to do half of his house. I was so
Yeah, this is very relevant.
All summer without it because he just had it over there, not doing anything with it. So I'm not going to let him do that again. He wants to use it again. I told him, you use it over here. You're taking over your house.
What is he pressure washing to bring?
And what else did Maria say? Why isn't she giving
to
you a
Lorne's
breathalyzer?
place? Don't you pressure wash the side of your house, your sidewalk, your concrete? Pressure washing
If
like
I feel like I'm
tools.
she wants me to be able to talk to someone.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter who it is you talk to.
Not everyone can jack their house up onto a trailer and drive it around, Lorne.
Okay.
Call me, you can talk to me. Said if it's Dwayne, that class, the counselor at class that you want to call, and talk to him, even if they have voicemail on his machine.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got to just be there for this.
Somebody else that you want to talk to about things and talk to them about it.
Mm-hmm.
She said, if you mess up, then at least call me and tell me or text me that you messed up and you need to talk. I don't want to mess up. I want to mess up.
No, you don't want to get in trouble for messing up. You're totally fine with all this shit.
Me and Roy was working.
You just don't want people to know about it. You don't want to answer for it.
Cleaning up the yard and everything. We got a lot of stuff done. And I was so proud of everything that we got done.
Mm-hmm.
Then I took and fucked up, went over Tony's. When I took Roy home, I went over Tony's after that. And I'm sorry I fucked up. Sorry for going over there when I told you I would.
Yeah.
Don't apologize to me.
She doesn't. She isn't affected whatsoever.
I promised you that I wouldn't drink.
Yeah, but I knew it was going to happen.
I didn't want it to happen. I'm stupid for fucking up.
The one thing that I know is that life isn't about being perfect. And
I can do whatever I want.
There's a difference between, like, I think sometimes you think in terms of being perfect as like, I'm promising.
Well, I'm not perfect, so I'm gonna drink 17.
And I'm not perfect though, so I'm going to. I'm going to go over Tony's. I'm going to drive drunk. Whatever it is that you're promising, you give yourself a little bit of an out because you say you're not perfect. And there's a difference between things that
neither are you.
Are just a matter of being human that make us imperfect. And then there's other things that are intentionally done. When you're thinking about an act and then you go and complete it, you can't toss that up and say, well, I'm not perfect. I know I promised, but I'm not perfect. So it's kind of like, I'm not perfect, so I'm
Get off my back.
to be in a good mood every single day. Or I'm not perfect, so sometimes I'll wake up on a Saturday and I don't feel like doing anything. I feel like hanging around, watching Netflix, not doing the whole entire to-do list that I normally have planned. But those types of things are just kind of like human nature, and we toss it up to just going with the day, and it's not a big deal because it's not having a major impact on our life.
Yeah,
But there,
what do you mean messing up? It has a major impact on my life.
It does. And the other thing along with that is that you're doing things intentionally. The things aren't just happening. You're not just waking up in the morning drunk. You're driving to the store. You're buying everything with money that you don't have. You're driving over to Tony's. You're sitting there. They're pissing you off because you know that they're taking advantage of you. They're making comments. Wendy's being disrespectful. You get in your car as soon as you're done. You drive drunk. You come home. You start disrespecting everyone, including me. And then the tears start. And you say, I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I mean, what is there to not understand? It's so clear. It's like every single thing. It seems like you do, your answer when you're questioned about it is, I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, are you just somebody who's floating in the breeze? Like, oh, the breeze is taking me the other way. I'm going to the liquor store. Oops. A beer. Oh my gosh. How did this beer get in my hand and why am I drinking it? I have no idea.
See, this is what messes me up, though, because I drank. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was happy. I wasn't thinking about anything from my past. And everything today came out again. Everything that I said to you last night, everything that I did, the way I treated you, the way I treated Wendy, the way it just friggin' went off the handle. And all I could think about is, why does anybody want to have anything to do with me with the fucking past that I had?
That is a good question. You should ask yourself that every
so fucking much.
Sorry, a fucking charge bothers me so fucking much.
I mean, I think that
you should ask yourself that question every morning when you look in the mirror and tell yourself that you're not ugly, and then the answer
some people
or the response to that should be, I shouldn't talk to anyone ever.
That could be it. They could have stolen a crap ton of money from someone and now they have that guilt too.
Betty.
They can have charges that they don't just go away. They're not swept under the rug. And these are the types of things that shouldn't be. What you did should not be swept under the rug ever.
Marie tells me that I need to get past it and I need to move on in my life. And all I can tell is, do you realize what I fucking did?
Well, she's not talking about.
Yeah, I realize what you did, but I realize what you did, but you can't kill you, beat yourself up for it.
Yes, you can. You actually should.
Well,
anyone tells you that you shouldn't,
there's a difference of saying, I did something terrible. I did something so bad.
Shit human.
And I can look at the bright side of it too and say it turned out a lot better than it could have, with there being an actual victim that you then would have to be responsible for.
Betty.
But, there's a matter of drawing a line in the sand and saying there's nothing that you can do to go backwards. Are you going to hate it every day? Yes, absolutely.
As
you
should.
And you should hate it every day. But you have to go on with your life. You have to wake up again the next morning and you have to do all the things that make up your life, whether it's take care of your dogs, go to work, talk to your mom, take care of your house. You do have to move on. Absolutely. But there's a difference because there's going to be no forgetting it, and you never should forget. I think that it would be scary if you did forget. If you said, you know what, this is something that I did 10 years ago.
Deal with
Fuck
it.
off if you have a problem with it.
No, I can't be like that because I have a problem with it.
You should, absolutely, and that's good.
Not something I ever wanted to do or ever.
Never wanted to do it.
There. Stop.
I mean,
stop.
What I'm saying.
Stop. You have to stop. Wait a second. I'm not going to let you do this again.
You gotta let me finish.
No, you have to let me finish first.
Okay.
I don't want to hear, I didn't want to go. I don't want to hear that. Really, what it categorically comes down untrue. To is, I didn't want to be that guy who did that. Because
you didn't want to be the guy that got caught for doing that.
because
He's totally
you
happy
know
being that
what
guy.
that means.
The month leading up,
You know
the
what
other,
people think.
the multiple
You
other
know what people think
real
when they think
girls.
about you.
He's totally
And
fine
when they
being
hear
that
about
guy.
you.
He doesn't want anyone else to know he's that guy.
You don't want to be that guy, but you were that guy. That's what you have to accept. You can't be in denial and say, I'm not like them. I'm not like the other guys who went there. Because you were exactly like them, Lorne.
I know, and it bothers me.
It should bother
It
you.
bothers me.
But here's
You're not
the
gaining
thing.
brownie points by saying it bothers you. That's
guy that did that.
You were
neutral.
that guy. That's what you have to
I know.
accept.
That's not so easy to accept, though.
You have to. You have to accept it.
It's not easy to live with.
I know, but you have to. All of this time that you've been saying to yourself, I didn't want to go there, has been blocking you. And it's blocking everyone from being able to move on from it too. I would be almost willing to bet that that's the reason why you're still in that class.
No.
Because you're still differentiating
don't have a
yourself
girlfriend,
from
that's
everyone
why.
else who's there as if you don't belong, and you do.
No, I don't.
The punishment that you've gone through is well deserved.
Oh.
The fact that you have to be inconvenienced and have to be on a registry and have to have your picture taken, go through all of this stuff, not being allowed to be like a regular citizen and have access to things like the internet, which is something that is pretty needed. You know, it's important for everyday life. I know I use it all the time. I do everything on there, banking, all kinds of stuff. So the fact that you're kind of grounded from that, like you can't have this, you can't have that privilege and that freedom to be able to do it because you can't be trusted. Until you prove that you can be trusted, legitimately trusted. And I'm not talking about just words, because we know that your words have been bullshit this whole time. But I'll say it again because it's really important, Lorne. You can't say I didn't want to go there anymore. It doesn't work.
I know what you're saying. It's not.
I never want to hear you say that again.
I won't say that again.
What are you going to say instead?
I don't want to be that guy.
I want to be the guy that did that.
He just needs an out.
That's actually the words that
That's still not true. That's still not good enough.
to say. Never said it.
I think that even that was going to be too hard for you to say. I think that you really did mean I didn't want to go there. Those were the types of things that you wanted everyone else to hear. Because like I was saying before, you want to differentiate yourself from everyone else. You see people that were on the show, like this Lurch guy that you talk about, how disgusting. The people who have been convicted of molesting other children. People who have been caught before. There was one guy who showed up at the house and then the very next day showed up again. Not at the same house, but it was the same, the same operation. So there,
John
there's people,
Canelli.
there's guys who
Let's give
walked
get
in
something
naked.
to eat.
There's guys who brought alcohol and all kinds of stuff. I mean, but you have to understand that you're no different from them. You were just as dangerous. You were a predator.
Didn't want to be.
Not what I wanted, though.
I know. Nope. When you say that's not what I wanted, you have to change those words in order for them to be actually correct.
But I need you to listen to what I'm saying, though.
I will listen. I will listen, and then I'll correct you.
When I was sitting there talking on the computer, I never wanted. In my head, I knew I didn't want to go to the sing house.
Okay, what does that mean? Why not?
Just because it was just something to do, just sit there and talk to someone, and she made me feel like she cared.
Okay, but wait a minute.
After being so used by my family and feeling like nobody cared.
Okay, but wait a minute.
And that's what kept me talking.
Okay, but wait a minute. What do you mean you didn't want to go there? Why not?
I mean, I did not want to go to the Sting House.
But why
I
not?
sit there and talk all
Because it was a
all
Sting
day, but
House.
I didn't know why.
I mean, if it was a real
because I knew in my
girl,
head that it was wrong.
you know, fair game.
Okay, why was it wrong?
Then,
I got to her first.
because
But it was a Sting House, so I never wanted to go to a Sting House.
Mm-hmm.
And it was wrong for me to do that.
Right.
It was wrong for me to do everything that I did on there. But in my head, I was telling myself, I'm not really going to go there, so I'm just talking to her.
Yeah, I'm not really going to show up, so I can just flash my cock to her
Doing what I was thinking,
as often as she'll turn on my webcam. As often as I can force her to sit down in front of it.
And we had touched upon it the last time that we talked. The first time that you were talking to her, the very first day, when she said she was 13, and you were talking about how you're a good guy, don't talk to any other guys. And then it turned very quickly, and you said something like, did you ever hear anything in this room that made you say, wow? And what you were talking about was like, I'm assuming that they were, could say something sexual in the regular chat room that you guys were hanging out in. Okay. So that was your first line.
Yeah.
Because that's what you were gunning for.
Oh.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about you were feeling low because of experiences that you had with your family and your life was spinning out of control, there was a lot of stuff against you. You had that whole situation with Betty's house that happened, and you had to bail out of there. So you went to Nashville, and then you were getting on the computer. And so before it started turning into something about being in love with each other, it turned sexual before then. So I want to know, why did that happen?
Yeah, I get a good answer.
Was 13. What turned you on?
I don't know.
That?
I don't know. I'm being honest with you. I don't know.
I want you to think about it then. It did turn you on.
The thing is, I think about it all the time. Why would I allow myself to do that?
Okay. So not only, there's two different things.
It's not what I wanted to do.
Well, there's two different things. There's two different things that happened. There is something that is going on in your mind where you're getting turned on by something. And then there's the actual expression of that. So there was something about Kayla that turned you on. You knew in your mind, you were thinking, I'm turned on by this, but I know that I shouldn't do this. This is pretty out there. I would definitely get in trouble if somebody knew. But I'm turned on.
But I still went there.
Well, it's not even going there.
It's flashing your cock in front of her.
The very first thing when you said, "Did anyone say?"
As soon as and as often as possible.
So it was fresh in your mind.
I was trying to find out if
fish. Trying to fish. See if you can lead the conversation to something sexual.
And
there's nothing.
And why would that be? Because you wanted to find out if she liked it.
Yep.
Maybe. I'm not gonna say no, because it's quite possible that was the reason. I was so messed up at the time that.
There you go. There's his out.
Okay, you're going back to your normal.
Well, you're choosing to not understand it.
You're going back to the same things you always say. I was messed up at the time. I don't understand. I didn't want to. And like I said,
I don't understand because I've never been like that.
Yes, you were like that to your own goddamn nieces. So yes.
Hopefully understand.
You were not never like that.
You have to take that away, because that is your
own nieces.
You're using those things
two admitted other real children over the internet that, according to you, lasted for years, not just a month.
That wasn't me. I was really messed up at the time. A lot of shit happened. My family, blah, 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 blah.
Jesus.
That's your protection, and you have to take it away, because I need to help you understand why.
I don't understand how I could do something so disgusting when I've spent my whole life protecting kids.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
You've never.
So one of the
fucked
things
up.
Spent my
one
life
of the things
protecting
I
kids.
had
How?
mentioned last time too is that the internet provides a platform, or it provided a platform for you
By leering on them in the shower?
kind of touch into this fantasy that you
Is
have
that,
in your mind.
is that protection?
Something that you wouldn't be able to just do in your normal everyday life because that would be way too scary. Approaching a girl who's 13 years old and talking sexually, saying something that could scare her so that she tells someone, that's way too much. And that's like, there would be immediate consequences to that, either by parents or schools. The cops would be knocking at your door. End of story. But somebody who's on the internet, it's again another safety net, somewhere that you would be able to engage in that and be turned on, be able to talk about stuff that turns you on that you wouldn't normally be able to do. That's where that came into play.
Because
So
it
that
wasn't a real thing.
Nope.
No, it's not that it wasn't a real thing, but it wasn't something that you were engaging in your with the people around you. So you weren't just going to a playground and chatting it up with a 13-year-old girl. You were doing it in the safety of your home where you could hide. And if something scary happened, like, you know, she says that she's scared or her dad gets on or something like that, you could just shut down your computer and
completely
throw it away or something like that. So
I don't know why I didn't think then why it wouldn't affect anybody with me just doing that.
okay, so
you
that's
knew
the
it would
reason-
affect her,
That's the
but you
reason
don't
why
care.
you did it.
She is
It's
powerless.
because you didn't think it was going to affect anybody. More importantly, it wasn't going to affect you directly. With the scariest part of the whole scenario is getting caught.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely the scariest part of the whole thing, and I know that.
Okay. So then being on the internet took that away. So now that we know that part, I want you to tell me.
Well, we're gonna go backwards, so.
I want you to tell me
how I can bring myself to do that.
All right.
Well, it just ties into what we just talked about. I think it was you felt safe doing it. Being on the internet made it safe for you. So now that safety net was there, I want you to tell me what turned you on about Kayla.
It's because somebody was paying attention to me and not wanting something from me.
It never even got to that point, though. I'm talking about the very first time that you talked to her, because you're talking about.
First time. Well, okay, see, that's what I'm saying. Is when I first started talking to her, I really meant to be just a nice person, just to give her somebody to talk to.
It's just.
Would you have done the same?
That's what I say when I said I never meant to.
Okay. Would you have done the same for a 13-year-old boy?
Oh God, no.
I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have.
Why not?
Because it was a boy.
And I'm not attracted to boys.
And you're not attracted to boys.
Right.
Okay. So that sort of chips away at the I wanted to be a nice guy story.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So then I want you to continue, and I want you to explain what turned you on about Kayla. After all of that, I want to be a nice guy. Don't ever give anyone your name. Stuff like that. Because we're still talking about the very first day. Tell me what turned you on about Kayla so that you turned on your camera and showed her your penis.
You know, this is so hard.
Oh my fucking God. We get it, dude.
I understand that it's really hard for you. Because you know what it means. You know what it's saying about you.
That I had bad intentions
Yes.
from the beginning.
What were the bad intentions?
To have sex with a 13-year-old girl.
Okay.
But I didn't want to. It's like, shut up. Jesus.
So tell me what turned you on about that.
Just the thought of it, I guess.
Okay. So what's the thought of it?
Just the thought of it.
What about the thought of it is exciting to you?
Still no.
I don't. Oh,
I know it's really hard to talk about. I know that it is. And I
yeah,
think
it
that,
is.
yeah. But this is what
It's so
Maria is
hard on
talking
me that I
about, you
tried to rape
moving
a kid.
on. You have to get past this stuff. You have to get it out. I'm sure that it's been bothering you this whole time. I'm sure it was bothering you back then. You had these thoughts in the back of your mind. They were there. It didn't just all of a sudden happen that night. You had them.
Dude, shut
You
up.
had such a burden. Because there's a side of you that knows. You know. You know that you didn't want to be that guy. So I want you to keep pushing. You're a lot stronger than this to just stop yourself.
The thought of having sex with an underage girl that was a virgin.
Okay. And what was exciting about that for you?
Just because she was
It's also
underage
interesting
girl,
how
that was a
his
virgin.
pedophilia extends to also include
So
exclusively
without it being
virgin
an
children,
underage girl who's a virgin,
so that they don't have any prior experience to
what were the
like
types
base
of
his
feelings that you were
ineptitude on.
having about that when you would think about it? Like what was something in particular that turned you on when you were thinking about this? When you were having your moments alone, what would you think about?
Ugh,
Oh God,
so
that is
hard.
fucking hard to talk about.
I know. But like I said, it's going to be freeing for you. It's something that it has to happen, Lorne.
I've never gone this
Never ordered
talking
up.
about it with anyone.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're able to do that today.
He's sobbing.
So I want you to take a deep breath and I want you to keep going.
Stop crying like
What
a little
did
baby.
you imagine when you're having these fantasies? When you imagine yourself back then, what did you fantasize about? I know we said a younger girl, underage, who was a virgin. Tell me about that.
Oh God. Just her being naked and me being naked with her, and me trying to be gentle with her, and
What was that?
oh God, you didn't hear it?
I didn't hear the very last part. You said being gentle with her, and then I think it might have cut out or something. What else did you
Trying to
say?
be good and trying to be good for her.
What do you mean good for her?
I mean, being gentle with her.
Okay. So you wanted to give her her first experience.
Yeah.
And what was exciting about that?
I guess it just being her first experience.
Do you think that that would make you an important part of her life?
Maybe that was part of it. Maybe this is I wanted to show her that I cared, like she was showing me that she cared.
Skipping a couple steps there still.
Okay.
She couldn't have possibly showed you that she cared within the first couple hours when you flashed yourself, exposed yourself to her.
And what else attracted you to her?
I'm gonna put a big red stamp on this one. Say go back, redo this.
Like her
this
blonde
page
hair,
in your book.
Yeah. She's like blonde.
Okay.
Okay.
She was showing me that she cared about me, and that meant a lot to me at the time.
Well, that happened later. That happened later because you had about a month to talk to her before everything happened at the end.
Yeah.
So
At first, it was just me being horny.
You were horny. Okay. And how did you feel when you found Kayla? That must have been really exciting for you.
What do you mean? How did I feel when I found Kayla?
Well, I mean, she's 13. She's exactly what you were looking for.
No, it wasn't.
No, that's where I got to stop, because she was not what I was looking for. I wasn't out looking for a 13-year-old. When I went in the chat room, I went in an adult chat room. I didn't go in a teeny bar.
But you found a child.
Right, I understand
I was not looking for that.
Right, but you found her though. So when you found her, how did you feel? Were you thinking like, oh,
like I don't walk outside.
This is my ultimate.
Specifically staring at the sidewalk for $100 bills, just littering the roadway. But if I'm taking a stroll and I look down and I see $100 bill, I'm gonna be pretty fucking excited.
What about
I didn't go out saying I'm going to try and find $100 bills fucking tucked in the bushes. But I could use $100. I like $100 bills.
With class.
So it doesn't matter. You were in a chat room and you found something that piqued your interest. It doesn't matter if you were trying to do that or not. It's what happened.
And they've been waiting to hear them.
Well, they've heard some of them. They haven't heard this in depth.
Well, they already know.
But that's what they're waiting for.
I have a problem going this in depth because I hate thinking myself doing what I do.
Too bad.
It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. You just do it.
Yeah.
More like duct tape. Okay.
Yeah, duct tape. But you just do it because it has to be done.
Yeah, duct tape, sure.
It has to be done. And that's how you can get the help that you need. When you're talking to Allie, or when you're talking to your class, and when you were talking to Emma, you knew these things in the back of your mind. You knew that they were there. And it was way too scary for you to say them. And unfortunately, the flip side to that is that they're not able to then help you in the best way that they can.
It's hard for me to deal with. It's hard for me to live with.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the guy that I ever wanted to be.
Right. And unfortunately, the internet gave you that ability to be that guy.
Fucking mad at myself for doing that.
When did you start getting mad at yourself?
When I did it.
What do you mean?
When you got caught?
When Chris Hansen walked out.
Okay. Bingo, right there.
I was like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is going on? Well, at first I was really nervous. I was like, well, who the fuck is this? I didn't know Chris Hansen.
Doesn't matter.
I've never seen the show before.
It's just it was a dude.
Oh, yeah, but it was an adult, and you weren't expecting an adult.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought was.
Doesn't matter what you thought.
Father or a cop.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who Chris Hansen was. I'd
Doesn't
never
matter.
seen him before in my life.
Who gives a shit?
That's fine, but like I said, it was an adult male walking out.
Yeah.
Who was obviously going to know why you were there.
Yeah.
So you were mad at yourself for getting caught.
I was mad at myself for getting caught. I was mad at myself for going there to begin with. So I knew better. I even said that in the conversation.
What did you say?
I could wind up going. I could wind up going to jail because of it. I said that earlier.
I could go to jail.
Okay.
I knew better than to do it. And that's one of the reasons it's so hard for me to think about me doing it, because I knew better.
That's another reason why it is even more concerning that you did, because you knew everything that
was better.
Was wrong with doing that.
It was a lot.
You did
it was a lot stronger because you couldn't pass up that opportunity.
And it's sick.
It's very sick.
One of the reasons I don't understand how I could possibly do that is because what I went through when I was a kid. I knew how much it bothered me. I knew how hard it was to live with it.
But that wasn't what you were thinking about when you were talking to her.
I don't believe him.
No, it's not.
I'll go on record and say I don't believe him.
So none of that stuff came up in your mind?
No.
Which doesn't make sense. Why would you need
It
to whistle if no one
wasn't
was home?
the
I mean,
pain that it could
it's
cause
just
her, or
it's
the
just more
sadness, the
bullshit to try and
regret
get people to feel
that she
sorry
would
for
have
them.
had after.
Or the hurt through cause her.
Especially because you were saying that you were in love with her and that you were going to get married.
Yeah.
Were you serious about that?
Nope.
I wasn't talking about marrying her right there.
Not what she
I know,
asked.
well, you couldn't, because it would have been illegal. You would have been found out if you tried to marry her right then.
Yeah, when I said that, I meant when she was 18.
Still not good.
And actually, I think
that's called grooming.
Well, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been able to happen really before then. So in your mind, you were thinking, I'm going to have this relationship with her for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why the hell I was thinking that. That I knew that wouldn't work. I really hate myself for doing that.
One of the things that I was thinking about that made me sad, out of the millions of things that made me sad about this situation, was that Kayla's first experience with a man, even just verbally, the things that he told her were going to turn out to be lies. She would have had to feel at 13 years old that a man will say whatever he thinks that she wants to hear in order to have sex with her.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
It's devastating.
It's pretty selfish.
It's extremely selfish.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I think that, in all honesty, the entire conversation was about you being horny. It wasn't about finding someone who cared about you or not wanting your money. It was all about your dick.
That's what it wound up being, because that's all I said.
That's all that you said, and that's all that you showed her. Like I said last time as well, I talked about this a lot with Winnie, and I read through the chat, and so much of it is burned into my head. Once again, when you're talking about emotions, and I found somebody who was paying attention to me, and that's why I kept talking to her. Again, that's a protection that you're using for yourself to differentiate yourself from the other predators.
I never thought of it like that. It sucks to have to live with it. How much of a piece of shit I was.
Mm-hmm. And that's not an easy thing for people to get past.
No, it's not. I can't get past that. I think about every fucking day.
Well, no, I'm talking about everyone else.
No, I know. It's affected me, my life, a lot, because people haven't gotten past it. I can't get past it. Every fucking day I think about it.
What do you think about?
I think about why did I do it?
Well, we already talked about why you did it. We talked about why you did it. It's because you wanted to have sex with a 13-year-old. That was your fantasy.
How I can bring myself to do it is what I'm saying, because I knew it was wrong. And it's not something that I didn't want to be that guy that did that kind of thing. I knew how much hurt it would cause that person, because I had to live with it myself.
So all the defense of but we were in love with each other, that all crumbles with this admission.
I knew I did not want to go to the house, but I still
backslide, buddy.
Why did you go there?
Because the thought of having sex with an underage girl turned me on.
Right. So the answer of I didn't want to go there doesn't apply.
Yes, you're right. I didn't want to go there. I just didn't want to get caught.
Yup.
Right. That's where all the planning came in.
So all this quote unquote progress just goes straight into the fucking toilet.
You were a predator.
Yeah, as much as I hate fucking saying that.
Well, you didn't say it. I did.
No.
But I know it.
You said it, but I know. It's fucked up.
I think you should say it yourself.
I was a predator. No sense me not saying it, because everything I did says that I was.
That's exactly it.
Yep. I mean that is it.
Disgusted by it. Ashamed of it.
Even saying I was is
hurt by it.
Good enough.
So out of the two situations, the two possible situations that it could have been, in that Kayla was a real 13-year-old girl that you had been exposing yourself to.
That's more truth than
that
you'd
you had
ever
been
get out of him
talking about
otherwise.
molesting her and participating in her rape. There's the possibility that she was real. And then the other possibility is that she was a grown woman sitting behind a computer, wasting your time in the hopes that you're going to be talking to her
Instead
and
of real
not
tab.
running into another 13-year-old.
I'm happy that I got caught. I'm happy it was a sting. I'm happy that I didn't get the chance to hurt anyone.
And not only that, not only
That's
showing up, and I know that that's obviously a huge deal, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. The damage to Kayla started way before you drove up her driveway.
I know.
The damage to Kayla started when you asked her if she knew what rape was, when you established yourself as a safe person to talk to, when you were the exact opposite.
Yeah, I know.
These are the things that you have to verbalize. You have to say them out loud and you have to admit them.
But the image that started to her was when I started talking sexually to her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to deny I'm not saved because I know it. I know it.
Yeah.
Hurts like hell that I'm that kind of guy.
oh.
That's the guy who still needs help because he's never gotten away from you. He's been stuck there. You've been trying to suppress him. And
What do I do now?
he's
So
not able
I'm
to
cured.
leave.
That guy, I don't know how that guy's ever going to be up to it because he thinks about it all the time.
Well, I don't mean
He
leaving.
has a hard time I have a hard time letting people in because of what I did.
Yeah. And the opposite is going to be true
I mean,
as well. People
if
are going to
they
have a
just
really hard
blindly
time
accepted
letting
your
you in.
interests, you wouldn't have a hard time. You'd be like, oh, cool. All right. You just don't like explaining this to people because you're legally required
I
to.
think that you're exhausted because you've been in denial for so many years.
It's hard to talk about.
I know. It is. The worst thing that you can do at this point, Lorne,
Is backslide.
now that you've started to talk about exactly what you were
Sorry,
thinking
Debbie.
that
It's
first night with
happening.
Kayla, the worst thing that you can do is go backwards.
I don't want to go backwards. That's part of the reason for me going over to Tony and Wendy's because they don't judge me. They just let me be me while I'm there.
Are you sure about that?
Well,
Well.
as far as Tony doesn't judge me.
Well, Tony,
Wendy,
Winnie told
he probably
me
does.
that he actually laughs at you about getting arrested.
No, yeah, he did.
No.
He kept teasing me about it until he realized that it pissed me off. I had a lot of anger when I got out, and a lot of it was towards Tony, and Tony's actually the one that I took it out on. So I'd go over there, and we'd get drunk. And I said things to him that I'd been wanting to say for years, and he knew I was right in saying everything that I said.
Yeah, he knew I was right. I doubt it.
Pushed each other around outside, pushed me on the ground, and pushed me
He
off.
knew I was right for saying it, but immediately we got into a fight.
Fucking pushed me again.
Okay, dude.
Kind of surprised him because he didn't realize that.
Wow. Even in his little bitch story, he's the stronger man.
I think that a lot of your anger was displaced, like it was being placed in different people in different situations because you didn't want to admit what you did and your actual responsibility in it as being 100%.
Yeah, because nobody else drove me there. It was me that drove me there. It was me that put myself into the computer.
Right.
It was me that did the whole thing.
So I know that there's stuff that has gone on since then on the computer about you.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I don't know everything, but it looks like there's a lot of stuff. And from what I gather, It all comes down to these
What
excuses that you've had.
you did.
I mean, just scratching the surface, just looking at some of the comments that people have made, some of the posts and things like that, there's a lot of anger. And it goes with, like, how is this guy denying what he did? He's actually saying he didn't want to go there. He didn't want to talk to her like that. Is he seriously doing that? Like, what the fuck? And even on your channel, your own videos were 100% denial.
I know.
And that's why you've been trolled so hard. That's why stuff has happened. It seems to me the response from other people has been completely negative because you're in denial and everybody knows better. Everybody knows better.
I didn't want to admit it to myself. I didn't want to think myself that way.
I know.
I knew I didn't want to think of myself that way. I was ashamed of myself.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. And so when they're getting these responses and these videos about how, well, I'm going to tell you why I went there. And it all comes down to my family and
mac and cheese.
And I was like, wait a minute.
Wait, that's my downfall. Yeah.
How he ended up there. And now he's talking about other people and how everything else seems to boil down to other people did things to me and pushed me in a direction where I ended up taking my dick out for a girl and I drove to her house and wanted to fuck her. And that is so frustrating. So frustrating.
Yeah, I know.
So think about it. When I talked to you last time, you were talking about he committed a crime against a poor 12-year-old girl. And his excuse was, I was drunk and I blacked out. And so it happened. And I'm going to move on with my life now. You did not accept that reason. You were thinking to yourself, being drunk is no excuse for what you did.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone has been hearing from you.
Yeah, I know. Because I didn't want to admit it.
And now you have.
I hate myself for it. I don't want to hate myself. It's so hard to live with it, knowing what I did.
Ooh.
And now what you're going to be able to do is use the resources that you have available to make yourself better, to keep going deeper and to keep getting an understanding and not backslide. Because
he's gonna
there's
fucking
going to be a lot
backslide
of people,
like a
who
moaf.
are never, ever going to forgive you. Ever. Those could be people who don't know you at all. And they can also be people that are in your own family and people who are your friends. It's just going to be a part of the consequence. And they're not a bunch of assholes. They're not a bunch of people, can't move on with their lives. Nothing like that. It's just, that's the way that it's going to be.
It might take some time before I'm able to talk to anybody else about it besides you. As deep as what I've gone with you.
Well, that's okay. I mean, if that's the case for right now, that's okay. I'm hoping that you're going to be able to branch out from there. I'm hoping that you can talk to other people, including your probation officer and your class, especially.
He'll die in that class. He's not a...
The denial that you've had for all of this time is why you have become so
negative Chris.
No one can subtract what happened on that day or on that month. No one can take it away because it already happened. But then after that, you went to prison and nothing ever changed. The only response that people were getting from you is, no, it wasn't me. Not my fault. You need to look elsewhere. You need to look at the shitbags that are in my family instead. Look at what they did to me. I'm the victim. And that's just not the way it is. So don't do that to yourself anymore. And the one thing is, like, you're not holding this big secret of your admission. Everybody already knows. It's just that no one's ever heard it from you. It's kind of like when we were talking about your money. Just because people aren't outright calling you an asshole and a fucking deadbeat doesn't mean that that's not what they're thinking. And that's not what they're telling their friends and their family. You said before that you want to be a good man.
Yeah, I do.
You don't want people to walk around and look at you sideways like, oh my God, this fucking guy.
No, I don't. I think it's part of what hurts me so bad. It's because I know what I did.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard for me to live with it.
So,
That's why I just don't.
George bothers me so fucking bad.
I don't understand why you can't even like myself for what I did.
Well, I
She
hate
doesn't
you for what you
like.
did.
She doesn't like you.
And you should.
Yeah.
I hate myself for what I did.
I know a lot of victims, Lorne. A lot. It's devastating to think about their pain and how they've been changed from that moment on. Someone that I know has been living with it for over 50 years. And there's scars on her body from how she would cut herself. Because that's how she would deal with it. She had so much pain. It affected everything in her life. She never had a normal relationship with a man. She never did. And it's all because someone like you came along. That's what breaks my heart. I want you to really feel that, Lorne. I want you to feel that it's because of people like you.
I do feel that. I know what you're saying. I know how they feel. That's what makes it so hard for me to live with what I did.
One of the things that makes me so sad is that you said you got mad at yourself when Chris Hansen came out because you got caught.
Yeah, it was because I got caught.
That's fucked.
Yeah, I know.
That's fucked up, Lorne.
I know it is.
That's something that you really need to think about.
I know it.
Because
I'm happy now that I got caught. I could have hurt her.
Yeah.
Could have?
For life.
For life.
I know what happened to me, and it hurt me for life.
Right. You would have destroyed her. Your intention to do what you did was to destroy her because you were horny.
I was selfish.
You were selfish, and all you thought about was your dick.
It's fucking pathetic.
It's sick. It's fucked up. Every disgusting word that you can possibly think of, that's what it is. That is why sexual predators like you are at the bottom of the barrel. Nobody gives a fuck. That's why you were probably in protective
But you
custody.
like me.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No shit. Oh.
Yes.
Wait, huh?
In jail.
Oh,
Prison,
here we go.
General population.
Okay. Were you
General
ever
population in the sex pest prison isn't much to brag about.
What type of a cell block were you in? Were you in with people like you?
No.
So you were in with people who were like...
Some had similar charges. Others had murder charges.
Okay.
Others had drug charges. It was general population.
Okay.
Dude.
Well, the reason why you were in...
I'd love to see this guy
because you could have been killed.
with a murder charge learn what Lorne was in there for.
Anybody in jail could have been killed.
Well, no, in particular, someone like you.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the possibility of you totally changing your story and going back to how it was
good foresight.
What?
Going back into denial.
I'm not going to go back into denial.
You're right on the money, Tiffany. I mean, I guess it's not that hard of a guess.
It can be with the professional people in your life, the people that can actually help you process a lot of this stuff. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not someone who's been trained to deal with someone like you at all.
But you're the one that I choose to be opening up to first about all this. that I trust to talk to about all this. Even
Okay.
though I know I can talk to Emma about it, it's still not
Yeah.
the same because it's just not the same.
Why wouldn't
I don't
it
want to
be
get in
the
Emma's
same?
pants.
Because it's not. It's not you.
Well, no, I know it's not me, but she's your best friend.
Yeah, but it's still just not the same. And I don't trust them. I mean, I probably do trust Emma with my bank account information, but
Dude.
not to the point where I actually give it to her. Does that make sense?
No.
Not
As
really.
much information as I've given you about me, I don't really trust anybody that much to give that much information about me. It's not one thing about me that I won't tell you.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Emma, she actually knows about this stuff.
I know.
In between Winnie calling her a Mexican and a wetback, she
Yes.
tells
Yeah.
me that she's really smart. Yeah.
She
So
does.
I don't think of her as a Mexican.
Huh?
Maybe she's just Emma.
I don't think of her as a Mexican.
And I'm not prejudiced anyway. So
Well, that's
no matter if she's Mexican or not, but
right.
it's still not something.
Good save.
Get this in depth.
Good save.
Emma about.
Okay.
If you only want to be this in depth with it about any of it right now.
I mean, hopefully there does come a time when you'll want to, or you'll want to talk to someone, someone in. And if that, I mean, I can be on the phone with you when that happens. I don't need to say anything. I can just be there.
I'd love that.
Okay.
I'd love to get recorded and the most.
I know Dan. Dan's a good guy. I might skip over Winnie for the
Stop
time
talking
being.
about fucking Dan.
There's still more that I need to figure out too.
What do you need to figure out?
I don't know. I guess. Well, I say to be a good girl. I guess just I don't know. It bothers me so bad that I did it.
But what do you need to figure out?
How I can bring myself to do it.
What do you think you're going to find, at the end of that road? You're going down this road of trying to figure out how you could do it. What do you think you're going to find there? What are you expecting?
I don't know. I'm not expecting anything. I just trying to figure it out after what happened to me and how it affected me. How could I bring myself to do it? What the hell is wrong with my head? Let myself do it.
Well, I'm going to ask something of you, and I'm hoping that you can continue to be honest. And I'm going to ask you, when did the fantasy start about you being with someone who's young, underage, and a virgin?
That day, that hour, that hour.
That's when that
never a single incident before.
Do you think that you had been denying that fantasy for a while, and the opportunity presented itself in more of a safe way, and that's why you're able to engage in it?
Maybe.
Well, when you say it that way.
Okay, so let's figure that out. When did you start thinking about that?
It's something I have to think about because I don't know right off the bat.
But it was before that night.
That's what I don't know. I can't remember ever thinking like that. Maybe I have thought about it before when I heard about people doing it.
What did you hear about?
On the news, people doing it. Or stories of people told me about people doing it. Maybe that's when thought started about it.
So you would hear maybe something similar. An older man being with a young girl who was a virgin. And even though that story was on the news, because obviously, most likely he got caught after the fact, after something terrible happened. But that turned you on.
As much as I hate to admit it, I probably did. That's when thoughts started about it. I don't remember when exactly, but I know I've heard stories about it before, and that's evidently somewhere along the way. When the thought about it came into my head, but I never acted on it, and then I never stopped and thought about it all the time like that. Maybe that's why I don't remember thinking about it somewhere along the way, the thought was in my head. It's not something I ever dreamed about.
Did you ever think about it when you would masturbate?
Nope.
No,
Why not?
because all I thought about was women my age.
So when you would hear the stories, like on the news or something, it would turn you on.
That was the incorrect buzzer for anyone
Along the way,
confused.
it must have. The day that I turned 37 was the day I tried to play on it. Well, actually, it was a month before that, but I started trying to play on it.
What about any other people online? Because you've been online for a while, right? You didn't just start when you went to Nashville.
No, I was online for a while.
Okay. So had you ever come across someone who was young like that?
No.
I mean, I know you weren't going into teenage chat rooms and stuff. You were going into adult chat rooms, but obviously we know that there's nothing really stopping anyone from going in there. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, but I never. Well, the ones that I talked to, one was Amanda James, which her actual name was Leslie Miller.
Even just
She was 28
casually.
and I was 30.
Because I'm not talking about like long relationships and things like that. I'm just casually.
Even just casually, I never talked to anybody that wasn't young like that.
So I'm curious about something because I know that with perverted justice, they had their decoys and they were positioning themselves in these chat rooms to see what would happen, to see if they were approached. And there were a couple of them that were there. It wasn't just Kayla. But when you were reaching out to them after a couple of lines, they bailed because you were already talking to Kayla.
See, they say that, and I've heard about them saying that before, and I don't remember talking to anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand you not remembering because it was so brief. You know, it was kind of like you would go to them and it wouldn't go anywhere. It would only just be a couple lines and then they wouldn't respond anymore.
I remember there was one room that I was in. It was an adult room.
Okay.
And I remember that I went down the name of every girl and just said hello to every girl in that room. Just for something to do.
Something to do.
I didn't mean to talk to anybody and have a conversation with anybody. Just every female in that room, I went down, said hello to every one of them. I remember that one room that I did that in.
Okay. And I'm assuming that that's the one where you came across Kayla because that's the story that you've used since then.
I don't remember if that was the same room or not.
Okay.
No.
I just would click on the names and I'd say hello, then I'd click off the names and I'd go to the next one and I'd do the same thing.
Just hoping that somebody would answer.
No, I just.
What do you mean no?
Well, then what would be the point of saying hi?
I don't know why I did that.
Again, I don't know why is really stupid.
Well, it might be stupid, but it's just I did it. I didn't really need to have a conversation with anyone. It's just clicked down through every female name and said hi.
But did they have little pictures next to their names or something? How would you know?
No, how would I know if it was female or not? I'd know. I look on their profile and it would say female.
Okay. And then it would have a picture in there, though, right?
Well, some of them had pictures and some didn't.
Okay.
But do I remember any of the pictures? No.
Well, I understand that. Do you remember Kayla's picture?
On her profile? No.
How do you not?
I remember the pictures that she sent me.
Okay.
Or some of them. But I remember some of them. And even at the time when she sent me the pictures, I don't know why I couldn't see it at the time, probably because I didn't want to. But I knew they were different girls. So there was at least two different girls that weren't the same.
Did you think that maybe she's so young that she's going to look different depending on when the pictures were taken?
I don't remember what I thought of. I know. I don't think I thought that. Just because I could tell that they weren't the same girl.
And what did you think when you noticed that?
I thought something was messed up because it's not the same girl. But I blew it off.
What did you think was messed up about it?
That she was telling me she was the same girl, and it wasn't. I could see that it wasn't the same girl.
Okay.
And that's what's messed up about it.
It's actually insane that PJ
I didn't let it click in
thought that would even work.
You know, this is messed up because she showed me two different pictures. And it's not the same person.
What about when you called her on the phone?
That messed me up too. Because she didn't sound like she was 13.
She sounded like she was 9.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that messed me up.
You sound so sweet.
It didn't sound like it messed you up.
Messed you up.
No, it didn't sound like it did.
So sweet.
Because that was before Chris Hansen came out.
When I got off the phone, it messed me up because I was like, that doesn't sound like a 13-year-old girl. And when I got there, and Casey was there, and her hair was brown, that messed me up. I'm like,
why's your hair brown, you
everything
stupid?
Clicked that nothing was the same, but nothing was clicking to tell me.
So then, when you were talking to Kayla, I don't remember exactly her name, but it was something like Kayla Princess, right? It was something like super girly, like young.
Yeah.
So when you saw that name, you imagined that she was a young girl.
I don't know what I imagined when I saw her name. I don't remember what I thought.
What about when you saw her pictures?
When I saw her, what are you asking me though?
I'm asking you, like, what made you want to continue?
I want to tell you that I know, but I don't. Other than the fact that I was horny and the thought of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made me want to continue.
One of the things I think is interesting too is that when you were talking to her on the phone, so there's a couple of things. You see her name, it's obviously a kid's name. You say hi to her. How old is she? She says she's 13. Eventually, you talk to her on the phone. She sounds like a little baby, literally.
I know.
Nothing deterred you. There was nothing that made it real, or I should say too real for you, that you were like, oh my God, I'm so disgusted with myself. This is too much. I am out. I can't believe I'm doing this. So
do you understand why there's more for me to figure out?
Well, there's more for you to admit. The answers are there. We've already been through some of them. You're just burying them because you don't want to say it. You pull out your security blanket that says, I didn't want to go. I never even meant to do it. I've never had those types of thoughts before. I'm not attracted to young girls like that. I'm not that guy. My family and friends know me. They know I would never hurt a child. I've always loved kids. All of those things come out because the question of why you did it and how could you do it are way too difficult for you to answer. There's absolutely nothing to figure out, Lorne. You already know.
I did it because I was horny and the thought of it.
Right. And the thought of it did not just pop out that day when you saw her. It didn't just materialize that day. You've been fantasizing about this for a long time. And finally, it became safe for you to push it further, to actually say the words to her.
but I've never masturbated to it. I've never sat there and like I did there, all the fucking crap that I said to her. I've never sat there and thought about this stuff like that. I've never sat there and had big fantasies of having sex with an underage girl. I've never gone to that depth till that day.
If you didn't masturbate to it, if you didn't, think about the things that made it having sex with an underage girl exciting for you, if you never thought about it before that day, why did it all of a sudden hit you?
By other people doing this. So I've thought about it
Something
before today, but I've never
there.
sat down and dwelled on it and thought about it. And do you understand what I'm saying? I've
Nope.
never taken time to dream about it. To just sit there and think about what it would be like and not to put that much thought into it.
Well, when you say that, I can imagine that you wouldn't necessarily think of like every single detail, like where you would be, what her name would be, that, that type of thing. But I think that there's things that you were thinking about, because
Okay, this is another way for me to explain it. Like
okay.
with you, I think about doing things with you. Just doing things. I think about just going out to eat with you and just doing things with you. I think about it all the time. I never did that. To sit there and fantasize about having sex with an underage girl like that.
But what would
I've never
you think
taken
about
that much time out of my day to think about that.
But what would you think about then? What would happen? Okay, so you're sitting at home, you hear a story on the news about a child who was molested, and something turns you on about that. What happens then?
There's just the thought in my head of it. Because of being mentioned on the news and then the thought of it, and I tried to think about it, actually happening.
Okay, so when you think about it actually happening, what's happening?
It just was, to try to picture it in my head.
What would you try to picture?
Just what that was actually that was happening. What they say, what the stories that they say. I try to get the picture in my head of it actually happening.
Okay.
And that's the thing, is that I never put myself in place to be in that picture with that girl or that boy, because I've heard disgusting fucking stories about it happening to boys. And that just grossed me right the fuck out because of what happened to me. And so it's not something that I ever sat down and thought constantly about. It's just a story of it. When I hear the story of it, it would be in my head, and I would try to picture it.
And it turned you on.
Maybe somewhere along the way it did.
Well, when you say evidently it did, that kind of puts a question mark in there,
Yeah, because it grosses me out to think about it.
Right. But that's what we're...
It grosses me out that it turned me on.
Right. So there is no question mark. So change your answer a little bit and not say, evidently it turned me on. Because when you say that, it makes as if you're confused and you still don't understand. The answer really is, it turned me on. When I would hear those stories, I would visualize myself in those stories.
I say evidently because it's a defense thing. I don't want to admit it.
Right. It's a defense thing. And that's what we're trying to get past. That's what's been blocking you this whole time. All these defenses that you're putting up there when you already know the answer.
But I hate the answer.
I know you hate the answer. But that answer is part of you. And I get that you can't take it. You can't take the discomfort.
You know, I wonder if what happened to me when I was a kid, if that's the reason that I had thought about it.
Well, I think that that's something in particular that maybe Emma can help you about, talk about, or that's something that it's something that you can talk about with your counselor and your probation officer. What I really want to do right now is for you to move past those defenses that you try. When you don't acknowledge this, you're never, ever, ever going to be able to process it the right way. That's why you've never been able to talk like this to Allie, someone who was in the position to help you.
It fucking hurts to fucking think back to when I was a kid. That happened to me. So fucking mad about that.
So mad about that. So I've been silent, but I've just been thinking, like, this is probably the most real anyone has ever been
I'm really glad that
with him,
finally,
and it's just not,
Lorne,
it just doesn't stick.
you're saying it out loud. I'm glad that finally you're able to know that you're not any better than the other guys in your class, any of the other guys who were showing up to meet their own Kaylas. You're not any better and you're not any different.
Jeez.
It really sucks to have to sit in there and listen to some things that they've done.
So I wanted to ask you this, and it's probably going to sound upsetting to you, but I want you to keep with being honest and open. When you are hearing those stories, do you get turned on?
No, I don't. I get mad.
Don't.
I get irritated and I try to block it out.
Why do you get mad?
Because he's an innocent little kid. I've heard some disgusting things.
Do you feel that things have changed for you since back when you were hearing the stories about men molesting children, when it did turn you on and you would visualize those circumstances? Until now. Huh?
What do you mean? What do I think things have changed for me?
Well, what do you think has changed? Because I get that they're talking in much more graphic detail and things like that, but essentially it's the same situation as you hearing about a child in a sexual position.
Yeah, it's changed for me a lot.
What's changed?
I have a hard time sitting there listening to the stories that I'm hearing these people that they've done.
I don't
have
get
a really hard
his
time
strategy.
sitting there listening to them. Sometimes I just want to get up and punch them.
Do you think that you're better than them?
Better for you, yeah.
Do I think I'm better than them?
Yeah, or different?
I don't think I'm better than them. The reason I say that is because they just have more of a problem.
Why?
Some of them can't stay away from that.
Well,
what does that mean?
How are your thoughts and behaviors different from them?
So I can stay away from it. I stay away from it. I don't think about it anymore. I hate the thought of it.
So you can't stay away from it. I imagine you're not just allowed to say, yeah, I openly still engage with this sort of stuff when you're in rape class.
That's why it's so hard to sit there and listen to the stories.
Like, I doubt that gets a round of applause. I imagine that's
But I can't
not
hate
good.
that person because he's got a sickness.
So what are they engaged with? What is
And
it? What are they
trying to deal with it? And
submerging themselves in more so than this guy?
Not do it. And some of them are really putting in a really good effort.
Do you feel
some of
like
those ones that are putting in a really good effort are really have a serious problem with it?
Okay. So what do you think about the sickness that brought you to do what you did?
Well, I think is, thank God I don't have as bad as what some of these other people have it.
Okay.
Some of these other people, it's like a drug to them.
Mm-hmm.
I thank God all time that I'm not in the position that they're in.
So the position that they're in is different because they have at least one real victim.
Well, the position that they're in is that they're addicted to it. They won't stop, but they have a problem with stopping.
What is he talking
about? What are
they
having a problem stopping?
It's their thoughts.
Okay.
Their thoughts of how they want to do it again, and the thoughts of how it excites them to think about what they did.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't excite me to think of what I did.
Well, you didn't get to do anything. And your idea of this crime, they got to do it.
It bothers me that I acted on it.
And you didn't. You got caught before any action could take place.
It bothers me to talk about it. It bothers me that I haven't been able to talk about it to anybody and go in depth with, like I have with you with it. It bothers me that it eats me alive.
It should eat you alive. As soon as you become accepting, or you've reached total acceptance of what you've done, that's just it. You're accepting it.
It's hard to accept stuff. I hate thinking about it.
I know.
I hate thinking that I did it. It hurts thinking that I did it.
It bothers me.
One of the things, the reason why I was bringing up the other couple of decoys that you hit up without remembering is that there would have been more Kaylas. And I'm not saying that their responses would have been the same. Your conversation may not have been exactly the same. It started the same. Because I can tell you that one of the very first lines in common was, "You're a little
You're
cutie."
a little cutie, aren't you? Well,
This is what a piece of shit I was.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't remember it because I don't want to remember it.
Well, again, like I said, you may not remember exactly the names of the girls, but they sounded like little girls. There was one Disney girl. I mean, how juvenile is that?
I've heard of that.
Okay.
I've heard of that. I've heard other people tell me about that.
Okay.
I don't remember talking to any Disney girl. I don't remember any of the names.
Yeah, because you were kind of in a frenzy.
That's not like a
You were kind of in a
call
frenzy.
to character. Messed up at the time.
And if she was a real girl, she would have remembered you every single day.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I've even heard girls who were young at the time that this happened, or the time when internet chatting kind of started. Remember the times when they would be online, when they were around Kayla's age or whatever, and they would get these creepy, disgusting guys who would be doing exactly what you were doing. So
I get all pissed off because I let Leanne Mandy go on the internet when I was out in Washington State. Leanne was 12 years old.
Oh.
And I was sitting right there, and I let her go into a chat room, and I told her only talk to females. Pick out a female and see if she'll talk to you. Well, some guy got on there and started saying sexual shit to Leanne.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fucking pissed.
A guy like you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or pissed.
I get on there.
That's the classic Daniel Polito defense. You don't want to go by the rules of this house? Whoa. You're telling me.
You were a cocksucker.
I was a cocksucker too. That's part of the reason why I don't understand how I could allow myself to do that.
Well, once again, it was a fantasy of yours, and you were in a safe place to do it. Just like that guy was in a safe place to do it with your niece.
You know, I couldn't get my fucking hands on them.
Exactly.
It's really ironic that you were feeling that way, isn't it?
Yeah. To this day, I still remember how fucking pissed off I was.
You're not help your case here, Lorne.
Piece of shit just kept running his fucking mouth.
I think that's probably why.
We started crying.
Why did she start crying?
Because she saw how mad I was. I scared her, and she started crying. She asked me to get off the internet and just shut this computer down. So I did. I saw her crying, and I did what she asked me to do.
Is that the niece that you were talking about?
The niece that I was talking about.
Yeah, you said that Kayla could trust you because you had nieces her age.
Yeah, Leanne and didn't. You know, I've only got 3 nieces, and they're all same age.
Okay. So I'm curious why they were brought up.
Because at the time, I really did not intend to do what I wound up doing. I really intended to just give her somebody to talk to.
Well,
that was at the beginning of the conversation.
Right. It was only a couple of minutes in the conversation, and you brought them up.
Yeah. This is part of what messed me up, is that this is why this is why it's hard for me to get past what I did. It was only not long after that I started talking sexually to her, and it bothers me. It bothers me because I can't figure it out.
What's to figure out?
We already figured it out.
Well, I know, but I can't figure out why I did what I did.
You can't
when I got so pissed off about somebody else doing it to Leanne.
You can't
verbalize when I started out. But when I started out, it's not what I wanted to do. I can't figure out why I did it. Well, I know why I didn't. I figured out why I did it. I can't figure out how I allowed myself to do it.
Okay, so say it again then.
Or maybe it just bothers me so much.
What was the reason for why you did it?
Because of the thought of it.
The thought of what?
The thought of having sex with an underage girl. That was a virgin. And it made me horny.
Right.
And that pisses me off.
Good.
Okay. This is what I mean when I say that you already know the answers to the questions. This is why I say I hope that you don't backslide into the same robotic responses.
Yeah, but I'm going back to it again. It's the same thing.
But you're going back to the same answers because you don't want to say it. That's why you're still in the class, because you have yet to say it.
No, I'm still in the class because I haven't gotten a girlfriend yet, Debbie. That's why we're talking. I'm trying to get something going here.
There's something really wrong about getting turned on by a girl getting molested.
Yeah, there is. And I hate myself for it.
Okay, I understand. I understand that there's something in you that turns you on about that.
Well, it doesn't turn me on anymore.
Okay, you need to tone it down because you're getting defensive.
I know, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It doesn't turn me on anymore. I don't like thinking about it. I hate the thought of it. Whenever I see an underage girl, I go the other way. I literally go the other way so I can avoid
Literally.
being near them. And it's sad.
Why are you avoiding?
Because it just scares the fuck out of me.
Why does it scare you?
Because of what I went through.
Went through.
It doesn't scare me that I try it again. It scares me that, for me to even be near them. Just because of what I went through. I just try to avoid any contact with them because I don't want to be accused of anything. I don't want anything to do with it.
Because you're afraid of how you're going to feel.
No.
Nope.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to get you away from thinking.
Well, the thing...
That's not the reason. I don't want to be accused of anything.
Here's the reason... Here's the reason why I'm going to say what I'm going to say. You can't help what's going on in your head.
Okay. Now I kept talking.
Dropped connection.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. The reason why, because I know what I was going to say, so I'll just continue. You can't help what goes on in your head. There are a lot of responses that are automatic. You obviously hate yourself for the attraction that you have. I don't think that it goes away. I think you're scared. I think you're scared of it.
I knew that's where you were going to go with that. And that's why I was trying to get you away from going there, because that's not the reason. So I'm not attracted to them. I'm scared of being accused because I have this charge.
Accused.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm scared of. I'm not attracted to underage girls anymore. It's what I've gone through has scared the fuck out of me.
Scared straight.
So I literally do not want to be near them.
So you're saying that Chris Hansen was like shock treatment?
Yeah. I'm saying like the whole thing was shock treatment. The whole 5 years. And the whole time after that. This doesn't go away for me. It's every day. Me beating myself up, as well as getting beat up on the internet. As well as spending 5 years incarcerated.
To go back to something that I mentioned earlier, there's going to be people who are never ever going to forgive you for what you did. They don't care what your reasons are. They don't care what your story is. They don't care. They're just going to hate you. Period.
Heartless.
There are also other people who are going to not forgive you, and they're not going to forget, but they're going to say, you know what? At least he's admitting what he did. At least he's being honest about what he did. So I'm just going to let it go now.
See, Maria tells me that why do I care what other people think? And it's like, well, I care. I've always cared what other people think.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't just let it go. Because it's me they're thinking about. And I hate people thinking bad of me. I've always hated it.
Well, at this point, there are a lot of people who think the worst of you.
I know. And it sucks. It sucks to live with it.
Like I said, there's people who aren't going to care what you have to say. And then there's others who just would love to hear the honest truth. There was a lot of, obviously, everyone who appeared on that show is a scumbag. Everyone. There's one guy, I don't know if you remember him. His screen name was Bald Beaver Hunter.
Yeah, I remember him.
He was a little guy.
John
Wesley Elliott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He He was in one of the prisons that I was in
Oh,
for a
was
short
he?
time. Yeah, for a short
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Actually, he was in the same jail cell, same pod that I was in for a short time.
Okay. He was talking to Chris, who he thought was a therapist. And when he was arrested, he went to his interrogation when he was talking to the police. And he also thought the detective was a therapist too. He felt like that's what he needed. And he was saying things that were disgusting, saying things that he wanted to have oral sex with a girl. That's why he was there. That's what his fantasy was. That's what turned him on. He was sharing photos of 11 and 12-year-old girls.
Like he wasn't literally there for the exact same shit.
Well, you're saying like he's disgusting. You're the same guy.
Yeah, I never shared photos. I never had any photos except for the one that Perverted Justice sent to me. And I deleted that off my computer. Well, I deleted it off what I thought was my computer, but evidently it saved me cookies or shit that I don't know anything about. Emma explained it to me.
Oh, okay, about the picture. But you know, having child pornography, that's just another nail in the coffin.
Well, I know.
Whether it being there or not doesn't make things any better for you.
It was a file that was sent to me.
So Perverted Justice must have done it.
And at the time, not giving any thought of what it was, because I'd never had anything like that sent to me before.
How would you know it was someone from Perverted Justice?
Well, because it took me a while to figure it out. But I figured it out that it was a file that was sent to me from someone from Perverted Justice.
So what?
And it was child pornography. And it was fucking disgusting.
So how do you know? I'm trying to figure out, how did you know it was Perverted Justice that did it?
Because it was the same time that I was talking to Kayla.
Well, you were talking to other people too.
Yeah, but at the time I was only talking to Kayla. I would talk to somebody else, but I don't remember who it was I was talking to. And actually, I don't know if I was even talking to them. I'm trying to remember, and I can't remember. Fuck, I wish I could remember it. I can't remember if I talked to them or not. I don't think, it doesn't seem like I talked to them.
Okay.
It seems like somebody just sent the file to me and said, "Here, look at this."
I mean, what kind of fucking
I had never had child
story is that?
So it wasn't even in my mind.
Here, stranger.
And I clicked it on. See what it was.
What do you think?
Popped up. It was child pornography. I fucking deleted it. I don't know if I was talking to him or not. I don't remember.
Why did you delete it?
Because it was child pornography. It was gross.
You were afraid of it.
I was afraid of it. It was disgusting.
Well, I mean, it's no different than what you were thinking about. And it was no different than what you were doing. You were going to do with Kayla.
But it was different because I was seeing it. Maybe that's why none of it felt real to me. Maybe that's why I have a hard time admitting it, because I see that picture and I was grossed out by it, and it bothers me. And to this day, it's still burning in my fucking head.
Ew.
Well, I think that you can take the idea of Kayla not being real in your mind and take it off the table.
Yeah.
That's another one of your defenses.
Kayla, I was trying to make it real.
Right, Kayla was real.
So mad at myself for fucking doing stupid thing.
Stupid move.
Such a selfish, pathetic, disgusting thing.
Well, you said it before. It turned you on.
Don't turn me on anymore. It grosses me out. It bothers me.
Gross.
It bothers me that I did it. That's why I have a hard time talking to people about it. I don't want to admit that I did it, even though I did.
There has to be a better way for you to go about things when you don't want to talk about it, instead of denial and defensiveness. And most importantly, deflection and alcohol, going after people that are involved directly with what you're upset about. It's just you're mad at them for something else and you're upset at the time, so then you start pointing fingers.
I don't even think it's them that I'm mad at. I think it's me.
It should be you. You're the only one who has control over your actions. But you've made it your point to make it about other people. You wanted to sue NBC for millions of dollars for nothing.
Yeah, I know.
You told Winnie that everyone was against you. Your attorney didn't do shit for you. If they had, then you would have gone to trial and you would have been exonerated and gone on with the rest of your life. But the reality is, Lorne, you were fucked. You had no defense. What the fuck was your defense going to be?
I don't know.
Well, tell me what your defense was.
I don't know. I'm not going to say I don't know. I don't remember.
So when you were...
So much, I think the whole time it was just so mad at myself for doing it. So I was taking it out on other people.
You were trying to make it not your fault. That's what you were doing.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was doing.
Because like you said earlier, you didn't get upset with yourself until Chris Hansen walked around the corner. That's when you're like, oh, motherfucker, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Yep.
It wasn't any of the time before then. All of the violations against Kayla. None of that was upsetting to you.
I know. Pretty fucking sad.
It's not sad. It's disgusting. It's infuriating.
It's sad that I would be so selfish.
It's not
so
sad.
So heartless.
Take out the sad. It's not sad.
It's disgusting that I would be so selfish and thoughtless and heartless and gross.
Gross.
And to think all of those things only after you were caught. Is that disturbing to you?
It's very disturbing to me. I hate it. Thinking, well, I could have hurt someone like that.
Well, and how that wasn't even your first thought. Your first thought is, I'm going to go to prison.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fact that you were jerking off on your camera for a kid.
Yeah, I know.
That you were asking her to masturbate for you.
Would have affected her for the rest of her life. And her kids. And her husband. And her parents.
If she was able to have a husband, if she was able to have kids, if she was able to have a normal, healthy relationship with anyone, which is questionable.
Yeah, it's very questionable.
The reason why it's difficult for me to process the idea that Kayla was the first one you ever talked to was because you had everything figured out.
What do you mean I had everything figured out?
Well, you had your plans, and even before then, trying to work around her parents saying that.
Okay, now,
well,
I know. Yeah, but I know what you're saying. And
what am I saying?
That I must have thought about it for a while before I started talking to Kayla.
Not even just.
Must have been in my mind before that.
Yes. And you said that it was, so you're not going to backpedal now.
No, I'm not backing out on it, because I already told you that I had to have thought about that I did think about it. Because when it was mentioned to me before, or when I hear stories about it, yeah, I thought about it before, but I never made plans of what to do and how to do it, and that's what I was trying to say. I've never sat there and dwelled on this stuff and put actual thought into it.
Well, even before the plan of getting into your truck and driving and all that stuff, I'm talking about working out how you could continue talking to her without getting caught. I can give you examples. Make sure you turn my cam off if you leave, because I don't want your parents to walk in the room. Joking about how she can't tell anybody about her boyfriend who's going to be 37 years old, and how she should ask her dad for a lock on the door because she's getting older now and she needs her privacy, aka Lorne wants to jerk off. Make sure you call one of your other friends so that my number is not the last one, because God forbid her parents just get curious one day, pick up the phone, who was the last number that was called? Ring, ring. Talking about how she was going to come to your house instead. That would have been a lot safer, because you were probably really nervous about being in hers. Do you remember what she was going to have to do after she pet Bud for 5 minutes?
No, I don't.
You sure about that?
I'm sure I don't want to remember. Maybe I'm shutting it up on purpose.
Don't shut it out.
Okay, so ask me the question again.
Okay. What did she have to do after playing with Bud for only 5 minutes?
It's like a trivia. It's like a trivia question.
I was going to take her in the bedroom and have sex with her, right?
Not exactly. You didn't have a bed.
A mattress.
Boom.
Really
she was going to take off her clothes. That's when she was going to get naked. And before then, before you even got to your apartment, you guys were going to be in your truck. Okay. And you were going to wear some easy access clothes, like the loose shorts that you had on, so she could blow you or jerk you off while you're driving. That's what I mean when I say that the abuse of Kayla started the moment you asked her if she knew what rape was and if anyone made her say wow when she was in the chat room. That's when it started. You've even said that you lost sight of her being 13, but yet that's all you referenced during the entire time. Whether it was the constant presence of her parents, the fact that she hadn't really gone through puberty, she didn't know how to masturbate. And you even said, Lorne, and I'm going to refresh your memory because you seem to want to block it out. When she said she didn't actually stick her finger inside, you were happy because you wanted your finger to be the first one.
But I'm going to ask you, why are you recapping the whole thing for me?
Because you need to hear it. You need to acknowledge it because you've been denying it this whole time.
I'm not denying that I said that stuff. So when you tell me about things that I said, I remember saying it.
Well, you just said before, when I asked you what she had to do after she pet Bud for 5 minutes, at first you said, I don't know. And then you said, well, maybe I'm blocking it out.
Because I probably am blocking it out. I don't want to remember the things I said.
You have to. That's why I'm pointing them out to you. You have to know what you said, because then you can finally move forward. You can get past all this stupid fucking shit that you've been saying all of these goddamn years. all this stuff that makes people just roll their fucking eyes. And it's out there because he made a video about it.
Yep.
You can't take back the things that I said.
You can't.
I wish to Christ I could.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to remember the things that I said. I don't want to be that guy.
But you were that guy.
I know, and I hate it.
And you were happy to be that guy.
You know, look how happy I am now about it. I'm not happy now because it's not the kind of guy that I want to be. That I ever wanted to be. Evidently, I wanted to be that guy at some point because I did it.
Don't say evidently.
I know.
Say I wanted to be that guy. I did all of the things that guy wanted.
It grosses me out to say it.
You say it.
I wanted to be that guy. It makes me mad to say it.
You know how I feel about it. You know how every normal person
I know
in
how
society
I
is going
feel
to feel about
now.
it.
I know how I feel about it now. I'm mad as my head and to hell at myself for ever wanting to be that guy.
Is your family mad at you?
Some are, some aren't. Some pretend like they're mad at me because they don't
Some pretend like they're mad at me. That is some insane cope.
Mad at them.
What do you mean pretend? What does that mean?
They pretend to be mad at me. One of them pretends to be mad at me about it. Because
That's just...
his in-laws. His in-laws thinking badly of them.
Oh, actually mad at me.
Okay.
And down the road, I'll tell you more about that.
That's fine.
Guy, Paul, he doesn't pretend to be mad at me. Roy definitely isn't mad at me. Lori's not mad at me. Richard's not mad at me. They're upset that I did it.
Uh-huh.
They're not mad at me. They didn't take their love away. They didn't stop talking to me. They didn't stop treating me like they've always treated me. There's a lot of things you'll learn about me and my family. There's a lot to tell. I used to be really proud of my family. I used to be.
Well, if there are people who don't accept you anymore because of what happened, that's okay.
See, I've got a different opinion on that when it comes to family.
Why?
Because when you love someone, you accept what they've done and you try to help them through it. You don't walk away from them.
Well, some people aren't able to accept it.
Well, then they never really loved me, did they?
That's not true.
Or maybe some people can't accept it because they know they've done similar things and they don't want to be associated with it.
What?
When somebody is.
What kind of take is that?
And been put out in the public for that thing.
Well, there's some people who could be so sickened by it that they don't ever want to hear your name or see your face again.
Yeah, there are.
And that's okay.
It's not okay.
It is okay, Lorne. No, it's not okay for you because it makes you feel bad.
Yeah, it does.
But your feelings aren't their feelings.
It's not okay for me because I'm the one that brought it to a point that they don't like. I hate that.
They don't have to accept it, Lorne.
I know. I've got to accept it.
No, you have to live within your own skin. And for survival, you have to process what happened, and acceptance does not make it okay. It doesn't mean if someone in your family, and I'm assuming you're referring to your brother that you won't mention, just because he doesn't accept it, he doesn't want to talk to you or have anything to do with you.
It doesn't make him a piece of shit.
That's not making him a bad guy.
You'll understand more down the road when I tell you more on that one.
From my perspective now, and I don't think that I'm going to see it differently, it doesn't really matter to me. What matters is everyone has the right to decide who they have in their life. It's kind of like if you have a
that includes family
who is an abusive alcoholic. There are some people who have been abused by them and they're going to decide, I don't want that person in my life. They're part of my family, but they've hurt me so badly that I'm done. In order for me to live, in order for my own health and happiness. I need to let that person go. I'm not going to speak to them. They're not in my life anymore. That's what I need to do in order to be okay. That person who is looking out for their own survival is not betraying the family. Your own life always has to be the most important. You have to look out for yourself. And I'm not saying that in a selfish way. I'm saying you have to take into consideration your own best interest. And you have to make those the top priority. Because when you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. You can't love anyone else completely or in a healthy way.
That's why I get let go of Tony.
What? You're saying that you get upset with Tony, but ultimately you're the one who's allowing him in your life. You're the one who's going over there.
Fall back to Tony. We're talking about family members.
You're the one making the call to go over there, making the offer, bringing Wendy something because that's going to appease her, bringing alcohol because then Tony will allow you into the home and hang out with him.
Fucking sad.
So fucking sad.
Fucking stupid.
Well, you answer the question. You answer the question of why. Because once again, just like everything else, you know the answer.
So mad at myself for wanting to go over there.
Well, that's not the reason. I'm not hearing a reason.
It's because I wanted to drink and forget.
You want to drink and forget?
Yeah.
Why not do that on your own, at your home, when you don't have the need to then get in your car and drive home? You're already going to be there.
Just someone to drink with.
Okay.
Tony's a good person to drink with, but he
wants
to buy.
Why is Tony a good person to drink with?
It's fun.
Happy drunk.
Because he allows you over to his house.
Yeah.
How many other people can you say that about?
One.
Right.
One is I don't, because I feel.
Oh my goodness.
Try to get to know anybody else. And that's Elton. The difference with Elton is I go over there, Elton will buy beer too.
But he's still allowing you to drive drunk.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so what the
Piece
fuck?
of shit.
I'm better off just to drink alone. And I don't want to drink alone. I don't like drinking alone. And I do it when I get home.
Yeah.
Contradicting my own fucking story.
Yeah. So your drunk ass walks into a store to buy more fucking beer. I can feel my blood pressure going crazy.
I can hear you. I can hear your blood pressure going crazy.
You know what makes it go crazy? Is that when presented with the question of why do you do that, your answer is, I don't know. And then when you're presented with the fact that eventually your luck is going to run out and you run over someone, you're going to cry like a little fucking bitch. Those stupid fucking tears that everyone hates. The ones that you try to make, even when they're not real, just so that people can have sympathy for your ass.
I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm looking
well, you're
to not
trying.
be confused. No, I'm not.
What is confusing? What is confusing to you?
Everything is confusing to me.
Why?
That's a shocker.
I've been talking to you now?
I know you've been talking to me.
Well, what the fuck, Lorne?
You're the first one I've ever gone in depth with about this
When
shit.
is it going to sink in?
It sinks in. It's sinking that I'm a piece of shit for what I did. That sank in a long time ago. What I can't get to sink in is why the hell do I do this stupid shit all over again when I don't want to do it?
Is it because you're fucking stupid? Is that what it is?
No, it's not because I'm stupid.
Are you just a dumb piece of fucking shit who can't learn a goddamn motherfucking lesson?
No.
No.
No?
No.
Oh, okay. I promise I'm never going to treat you like that again. I'm never going to drink again. I'm never. I hate when I do that.
Do that.
I do hate when I do that.
Hate when I do that.
Oh, God. I'm not lying to you when I tell you that I hate that I do that.
You don't hate it enough because you do it all the time. So I don't think you hate it.
It's going to change. I know I'm going to have to prove it to you, but it's going to change.
Why? Why is it going to change now?
Because I don't like being like that, and I don't want to be to you like that. I like that to you. I've never wanted to be that kind of person.
Never wanna.
Here we go again. I never wanted to. Here we go again. Lorne doesn't have any of his own fucking free will.
Well, I do. I'll
Well,
prove it to you.
I don't need you to prove it to me.
Well, I need me to prove it to you.
Prove it to yourself. Prove
I
it to
need-
yourself that you're not a fucking scumbag. How about you start there?
I need to do that too. But it's important to me that I prove it to you too.
You don't want to quit drinking. You didn't want to
Yeah, I
quit
do.
smoking.
Yeah, I do. Well, no, I didn't want to quit smoking, but I did for 4 days.
4
I fucked it up
days.
today, but I'm gonna quit again tomorrow.
4 days.
Why bother?
I'm gonna quit again
Well,
tomorrow.
because I don't want to smoke. I don't want you to have to be around that shit.
I'm not around it.
No, but I don't want you to ever have to be around it if you're with me.
I'm not making plans to do that.
I know.
So you shouldn't be
but-
making plans either.
Well,
Because if you
Yeah.
really wanted to quit, if that was something you really wanted to do, you would have just done it.
it's not easy to do it,
I know it's not easy.
but I am trying to do it, and I do want to do it.
There are a lot of things that are more dangerous, Lorne, like you getting into your car after you're drunk,
I know.
than smoking.
I know.
The point is that all of these things that you don't want to do are things that you actually do want to do.
Being self-destructive.
Yeah, it's completely self-destructive. Because if you take the matter of drunk driving on its own, how is that not enough to make you not do it? The consequences of that are huge.
Yeah, I know. It's part
And
of
all
it.
you do
All
is
the Maria.
you test it every single time. You take everyone else's safety into your hands and you're like, I wanted to go drinking. Well, what do you want from me?
Selfish.
Do you see a trend?
Yeah, I do.
What's the trend?
Being selfish and stupid.
You're a selfish asshole. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. You don't deserve that.
I don't expect you to.
Yeah.
I like that you put it like it is.
Good.
Whether you know it or not, it helps me that you put it like it,
Well,
like it is.
yes, it should.
It's shocking. It really is shocking.
But
Like,
you're not
that
gonna
you're
hold on to that
willing
same
to do that
angle
all the time.
Whether you believe me or not, I want to
tomorrow
I don't
when she
like
doesn't
the
pick up the
person that I've
goddamn
been.
phone because she's
You
out on a
must
date
like
with a
them on some
cocksucker.
level.
No,
You
I
have
don't
to.
like being. I don't
You-
like being self-destructive like that.
You're getting
I don't
something
like
out of
what
it,
I've
though.
done.
You're getting something out of it.
What? More confusion? More problems?
It's not
I mean,
confusing.
yes,
We have
but-
already discussed that you're not confused. You're in denial. There's no confusion.
Yeah, you're right. There's no confusion. I hate myself
Right.
for what I did. I hate
Well-
myself for what I did.
It's not just what you did, because I think when you're talking about that, you're talking about the sting. It's what
Yeah.
you continue to do.
When I say that, I know I'm talking about the sting. Because I hate myself for what I did.
Great. But I'm talking about you driving drunk right now.
I hate myself for doing that too because it's stupid,
How can you hate yourself then? Because you do it all the time.
selfish, and ignorant.
Well, it's not ignorance, because ignorance means that you don't know.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Oh.
Selfish stupidity.
It's not even stupidity, because stupidity on a level is not knowing. You can't give yourself any
All right,
kind
what
of
up?
an out.
We're being a bit pedantic here,
It's
Debbie.
just selfish. Stop being so fucking selfish with everything. Everything with you is about being selfish. How you acted last night to me was selfish, ridiculous, childish. It's all about making baby Lorne feel better. Make me feel like you want me, and that's not gonna fucking happen.
Oh,
Because you're so beautiful. I
oh.
love it that you put it straight.
Don't just
That's
say
what I
that
need.
because you think somehow I'm gonna see you differently or in a better way.
No, it's not. It's not why I say that.
No.
Okay.
I say that because it's what I need. So it makes me think more. It makes me look deeper at myself and the things that I do, and the things I've done, and the way I want to be.
And the fact that you're selfish in everything you do,
Yeah,
Yup.
to the
Oh,
detriment of
change it.
others.
and how I want to change it.
You make these declarations of change,
Because
That
I need
are-
to change.
but the thing is that you don't change. You just make the declarations. That's what I mean when I say that I don't buy it. I don't buy those words. I'm gonna stop smoking. I'm not going to drink
Them
anymore.
words.
Okay, whatever. I just kind of roll my eyes.
Don't roll your eyes. Smoking is hard to do. It's hard to quit.
But you're the one who's saying that you're quitting.
I am. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. I'm mad at myself for fucking up today.
Thanks a lot. Think I'll have a cigarette.
The only thing I can do is try again tomorrow and try not to fuck up. The drinking.
We have to, in order to change anything, you have to look at it very deeply and honestly, and don't just throw up your hands like, oh, I fucked up. Oh, well, I'll try again tomorrow. When I was talking earlier about people not expecting anyone to be perfect, and when I say that, we're talking about things that are a lot lighter, like I'm not going to be in a good mood every day. That's impossible for anyone to do.
I know. When you said
but
that,
there are there are things that people should be 100% effective at. Like, I'm not going to go out and commit murder today. 100%er right here. I'm not going to go out and drive my car after I'm intoxicated. 100%. I'm not going to walk into a bank and rob it. 100%. I'm not going to steal someone's car. 100%. All of these things are things that are to be expected, and it doesn't fall into the category of expecting someone to be perfect, as if that expectation is unrealistic. We have to look at situations for what they are, and not just like toss it up and say, oh, just another day. I fucked up again, and I went over Tony's when I don't want to, and I drove drunk when I don't want to, and I drank when I don't want to, and I smoked when I don't want to.
There's a lot of...
all the way down the line. When things are purposeful actions, you can't toss it up in there and say, oh, I wasn't perfect. Oh, well, I'll try again tomorrow. Failure in those regards don't fall into the category of you're just a human. Like I was saying about not being a ray of sunshine every single day, or 100% productive every single day. Those fall into the category of you're just a human. Stuff happens.
Sorry to try harder, but I'm going to. I know I'm going to show you that I'm going to.
You have to try harder for you. You can't try harder for me. That's where this is all kind of displaced. So while your blame for things happening is put onto other people, when you do something right, or your successes, you put them onto other people too. And then what ends up happening is you will say, I had a bad night because of you, so I fucked up today, and I went drinking, and I drove after I did that. And that wouldn't have happened if you didn't do what you did.
I know. The whole thing was my fault, and I know. It's a stupid decision I made.
They're repeatedly stupid. That's the problem. Why are you stupid every fucking day, man?
Sorry, it's just funny the way you said that.
Yeah, I know. It's so frustrating.
I'm going to make it less frustrating.
For yourself.
For myself and for you. And for everybody.
How would you feel if you were driving down the street after a night at Tony's and you ran into your mom?
I wouldn't be able to live with myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's a powerful one.
Think of things in terms of your mom, because you love her and you don't want anything to happen. So when you think about, like, even the Betty thing, think about
Mom's
if there was
gold.
someone who came to your mom's house, took thousands and thousands of dollars from her. She happily gave it over because she was expecting this job to be done. And then he doesn't do it, and he takes off with the money. How would you feel?
Oh, I'd be so fucking pissed.
Yeah. Would you have the expectation that that person's going to pay every penny back?
Yeah, I would.
Would you give a shit if they want to fix up their house or go to the auction and buy things for some yard sale? Or that they want to go drinking with their friends?
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't care?
No, I wouldn't.
So why is it okay for you to do that? Why is it okay that after all of these years you haven't paid her shit?
It's not okay.
So you probably would be out there fighting for her.
I acknowledge the stuff and stuff that I've done wrong. And I don't like that I've been like that.
But your answer to things is you'll say that it happened, and then you'll follow it up with, I don't like doing that. End of discussion. I hate that I did that. End of discussion.
I do hate that I've done that. I hate everything that I've done wrong. I hate it. And it's hard for me to talk about things when I know what's going on in my head constantly. It's hard for me to talk about it. And there's not many people that I'll talk about a lot of things with. I've talked to Emma about some stuff. Anything that I talk to you about, I've never gone in depth with anybody.
I know you've mentioned that before.
I'm not talking about just a sting.
I know.
Anything that I talk about with you from here on out is going to be deep shit that's in my head.
Okay, good.
And I've never gone.
Never gone.
I've never let anybody in that deep.
Okay.
I'd shut them off and just not answer the questions, or just say I don't know.
Okay.
Sometimes when I tell you I don't know, I don't mean I don't know right that minute. Let me have a minute to think about it, or say something that's gonna trigger something in my head so that I can actually get the answer out.
Don't bother saying I don't know. Change that dialogue for yourself. Don't say I don't know, because you do.
What do you want me to say though? You want me to say help me figure it out? Help me think about it?
I mean, sure, fuck it.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's what you have to do. When you say I don't know, that's another stupid thing that you have for your defense. I don't know. I was confused. Or you do things too. Let's talk about that. No one else ever has to admit what they do. That's such a baby thing to say. And that's kind of like where your thought processes are. They're very immature.
Well, when I say something like that, it's because I feel like I'm being attacked.
But then why is your response to being attacked to not try to understand it better, but to then go and say stupid shit all the time back?
Probably because with Winnie always made it feel like she was attacking.
Well, you're the one who kept talking to her for over a year. And the things that I've heard from you weren't very flattering either.
I know. I wasn't the best person. I wish it could have been better, but...
Well, you can't go backwards. You can't go backwards. I fucking hate when you say the whole thing bothered me.
Well, it did bother me. It bothered me that the way we met was just, she was doing this whole thing for Xavier. It was just so hard to get that out of my head because what Xavier does. I should really just stop thinking about Xavier.
There's an idea. And it would be great if you would stop calling
There's
other
an
people
idea.
Xavier too.
I know it bothers other people.
You say you don't want people playing games, but you're the one who plays the game. You try to manipulate. Just like with your texts yesterday. I didn't count them all, but there's probably over 20 since I stopped responding. I knew you were looking for an answer, and I wasn't giving it to you. You're not going to play me like that. You're not smart enough.
I don't want to play you.
Don't try. You've been trying to.
I want to play you.
An asshole.
It's because you are one.
I don't have any reason to be.
Well, the reason you are one is because you are one. That's your reason.
No, I'm going to be honest with you. It's part of me being honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me not holding back what's in my head because I'm afraid that something's going to happen that, like what happened with Winnie, or like happened with Ramona.
Who's Ramona? You didn't mention her before.
I figured you already knew about Ramona. Everybody else does.
No, you said Amanda James, Vanessa, Ann-Lee Parker, and Winnie.
Ramona was the one that...
Or Ramona.
Evidently she has something to do
Oh,
with
don't worry.
And this was when I don't remember how long I knew Emma already, but Emma was part of it at the beginning, I think she said. But Ramona played me for 10 months just to get information about me.
Okay.
To bring it back to Xavier, to put it on the internet. With all this fucking shit that she was going to go on a date with a doctor and all this other shit. And when it wound up, she was just playing me, and she was actually had a boyfriend that was living with her. She told me it was her brother that was living with her, or moved in with her. Or it was actually her boyfriend that moved in with her. And I'm surprised. It shocks the hell out of me that you didn't know about that already. I thought you did.
I'm not going to know everything. Your whole life is fucked. It's like
it's fucked.
the sands through the hourglass. Here's Lorne's life. It's crazy.
Yeah, it shocks the hell out of me that you don't know about that, because that was a big thing on the internet.
Okay, well, I just scratched the surface. There's so much stuff. And like I said, most of the stuff has to do with you being in your denial state and being angry at everyone else except for yourself.
There were recordings of me and Ramona's conversations. I talked to her every day on the phone. She'd be recording.
How did you stand that?
I didn't know how did I stand being recorded.
No.
Now, how did you stand talking to you every day on the phone?
I have my headset on when I drive.
No, it's just talking about how anyone can mentally barricade themselves against your bullshit. I mean, I've been making pretty videos pretty close to each other, and I'm already starting to lose it. And I listen to you all the time, normally. Just when I gotta actually turn my brain on and try and throw some reason in, and so I'm not just silently sitting here listening to a call building Legos. It's like more frustrating than normal. Because I can at least laugh, and I'm trying to piece logic into this crap. It just doesn't work. It doesn't make sense.
And you help me.
The most important thing to me is that my helping you isn't a waste of my time.
Oh, sorry. Oops, sorry.
I mean, you've said a lot of that stuff, like proving it, and
I know that I messed up.
But it's really not messing up, though. That's the thing. What I want you to understand is it's not messing up. Because when you say mess up, you're just making it like a flippant thing, like not a big deal. You know what I mean? Right.
I really wish I could. I don't know. I can't say help you understand. I really wish. I guess that's the only way that I can say it. I would really wish that I could help you understand how much I really do not want to disappoint you or me or anybody else that is in my life, but especially you or me or Mom.
Well, cool.
Mom.
It means a lot to me to be able to
cool.
You have a lot of work to do.
I know.
Like a lot. A lot.
Jeez.
I know I have a lot of work to do, but I'm going to do it.
All right.
Can
I go now?
Yes, ma'am. You sure?
Okay, bye.
If you want to.
Okay, bye.
Boom. And just like that. Oops, sorry. Just like that. Take all that past 2 hours and 30 minutes of this entire phone call, everything you've listened to here, and you're going to crumble it up. You're going to flush it down the toilet, because as soon as Debbie goes on another fucking date with a fucking cocksucker, all of this is off the table. Everything is wiped clean. I didn't mean anything I said. Why would I ever want to go in depth with you? You don't want to be with me. The whole 9 yards. It's just the flimsy house of cards he builds during this call comes crashing down. And by the time you get to the next catfish, we're back to the non-admittal stage. They don't ever get this far with him, because he just, once again, he retreats in his shell of perversion and delusion. So just what a waste of time. This is possibly one of the greatest calls that have ever really presented Lorne with the tools to help him out, far more than any counselor ever has, because they're all, as he speaks about his counselors, they're just babying him. They're just waiting for they're waiting for his 1 hour time slot to finish, and then they kick him out, because they know he's going to go nowhere. So they just don't want him to blow up in front of them. They don't care. So it's like, oh, they're so precious. Allie's perfect. None of them can help him, because none of them are available to date him. so he will not accept anything. So pretty tough game to play, right? Try to not necessarily rip the carpet out right from under him immediately, see how far he can go. But, eventually he's going to want you up there with him in person, and then you can talk about all that stuff, which is just not going to happen. But I will be there in 4 hours. Please give me a DiGiorno pizza and pick me up at the Portland airport. So, I got a flight to catch. I'm going to go meet Lorne in person, I guess. He's going to cook me a nice oven baked frozen dinner. And we're gonna have a grand old time. He'll tell me all of his deepest, darkest secrets. When he knows that I'm not recording him, because I definitely don't have my phone on in my pocket like socks at the yard sale. Fucking idiot. All right, for me, this one gives 4 great big yahas for the amount of patience and maturity that Tiffany expressed in this call. Just try and see how much Lorne is pseudo willing to explore. A lot of backtracking, even in this call, before he completely throws it all away. But it is very interesting. It's very interesting to see how much he's willing to divulge and how much he is not willing to divulge when he thinks there's a fresh meat on the line. If you catch my drift, yaha! That was a preemptive, my bad. Here we go. 4 big yahas. Yaha! 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 Man, this gets dumber every time I do it. This is a Joy Identity. Fantastic call. Thank you once again, Raptor Bacon, and I am out of here.